Oh, hell yeah, we do. We want this game 3 to be electric. Dagda and myself, Hysterics, we've been fighting not only with you all at home to get this exploding into the series it is, but also with this stupid fly that is around the studio. And I feel like us and this fly have been on an adventure together. He has been the third caster, the trio to our duo. It is only in this moment that I respect the fly and hope it gets to enjoy this very last game with us in Paris to the very end. His name is Randy. Let's begin.
Well, nothing is going to change here much, it seems like, in the ban phase thus far. Jace and Maokai taken off the board. I imagine we're probably going to get an Azir ban towards Caps as well, somewhere in the middle of this, just to try and keep them that off his toes. But because there has been a lot of focus on towards Caps and his champion pool this series. When you think of like the first pick on the Talia, the Hui bans, a ton of bans leverage his direction as well. But can they get their hands on something that's a bit of comfort for him now?
Rumble Jace, all must bans against Canna, makes sense. Akali was the final ban. That one going up against Vladi with his arc in the mid lane. We've already seen his Silas. We've already seen Vladi on the Talia last game. Played a very pivotal support role. I want to see what this first pick's going to be, Dagda, because again, I'm looking forward to these drafts being wacky. We've got a Caitlyn game too. Who knows what the world's going to deliver in this third. Zara was it. Yone's actually, thinking about it, Yone's up. Good takeaway.
Yeah. Okay, so Yone immediately taken, so also just a takeaway from Vladi as well, who's been very strong in the pick. So I'm now curious, because last time the Yone was taken, he ended up going towards the Silas, but Silas obviously can't take into this matchup, so I'm wondering what he has in his back pocket now as an answer into this, but I still think maybe you just go with the Azir and say, look, I'm willing to trade and try and play from ranges. The MF going to be taken for Kaliste.
Okay, with the MF, maybe a Sedge takeaway. There we go, locked in, especially taken away from the Yone pairing.
So this says chances are we're going to see some sort of melee mid here for Vladi as well, just because you tend to want double melee solo laners.
True.
So then you can try and play around the Sejuani. So maybe it's something like the Akali for him in this mid lane.
It got banned away already though. Like when you talk about melee mids.
True, actually, yeah.
You're right, it's a great pairing, but what does he have left available? His Mundo just flops in. All right. Game 3 for SkewMond, and this could be a flex to Broken Blade, let's not forget.
Yeah, I do think, though, we'll be in the jungle. Again, great clear, very, very quick, but also denies a lot of that CC that Sejuani can bring to the table as well, right? Which is always very good, especially if the Mundo can just stand in front of anyone who's a little bit squishy and absorb that initial glacial prison. It works out incredibly well as, okay. Woo. So going to be some scrapping in the bottom lane, as it will actually be the Azir that's taken in the end.
The Azir, I mean, these are power picks. I think for Europe, Kalista's always been on the board of first rotation of bans. Yone's been the same. Sejuani's been one of the best junglers with, you know, you talk about a lot of these mid laners like the Azir too. I'm seeing powerful picks for our final game here. And I just love the comps already. Renata is the first ban by KC.
Yeah, I think the Renata makes a lot of sense to try and keep the comfort in the bottom side. Poppy hasn't been picked this series, which also I think is a ban that I would imagine you go towards here as G2 to just try and make things easy.
Good call out on that.
Yeah.
Let's see what the final ban for KC is. We're in the depth of it, guys. And if anyone's got their volume down below 50%, crank it up about 5 for me. Actually, give me 7.5. That's a volume increases.
Fiddlesticks.
Yeah. They need to hear the crowd. They need to hear the intensity of this. They need to hear the great music that's accompanying us, which maybe is fishing. They're worried about what, Dagda? I mean, they want Rell, obviously, right?
Yeah, I mean, Leona is still up and available as well.
That's another good
So
call.
I think the thing is, if you ban away either Leona or Rell, you can't really go for the trade on the opposite side. So just going to ban the Aatrox instead and just remove some of that top lane dominance. So I think here you just end up taking, more than likely, the Leona, because Leona can do very well at shutting down MF whenever she opens up with the bullet time. So I think you take the Leona, just accept that you're going to have a decent time into the Rell. But okay, no, actually going to go with Rakan. So I think there is a world here on the upside side where you just either you take the Leona here yourself with the Kalista very strong bot lane that you can play very aggressive through. unless you just are really tunneling on the Rell and being able to find that big AoE engage. But I think Yone should just do the trick fine.
These are good call-outs. Let's see, engage for G2. The follow-up would be nice. It's not the shy Kalista top. We've moved past that after Sejuani Blade. Rell gets locked in. Good call-out, Dagda. Now on the other side, I want to see, where is this Mundo going? You and I both think it's going jungle.
I think this is just a Scion lock.
Yeah, you reckon?
I think. Oh, actually, I suppose you need more AP, so Cannon? Maybe he's at the top. Okay, should have known.
God. He got that dog in him too. Broken blade. I mean, I should have known when I saw the barrier top. Absolutely filthy. Ow! Yo. Okay. The crowd is unleashing. Renekton
is the answer.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised. I don't. Obviously, I'm not. Okay.
Ambessa is a lot better.
Okay. So we've seen Warwick as kind of the counter pick to Ambessa that BB has been practicing. So, and it is very much a case of him playing on a knife's edge in this matchup and trying to make sure that he can get full value out of it. But I do think the Ambessa, as she starts to scale into the game, just becomes a serious threat.
Yeah.
And definitely rounds out having a more consistent DPS, or AD DPS threat in these fights, because Kaliste can do some work on the Misfortune, but you're not exactly a massive constant DPS. It's more about the bullet time.
You know, I've been theory crafting with this top lane pick and running it down a bit with Warwick top. The really cool thing I like as a mechanic is when you have low health minions, you auto, you get that attack speed steroid, then you go and auto a champion, you still have it for a little bit. It's like the game realizes, wait a minute, that's no longer a low health target, and slows you down. You go to the minions, you do it again. So if you weave between low health minions and a melee target like Ambessa, you're just clawing for so much attack speed, rather than it doesn't seem logical. It's just something I want you to keep an eye out for, and everyone at home to do the same thing as well, because also to note, we have a lot of melee and like very low range on G2 for this game. Mundo, Warwick, Caps on Yone, like this is the sender comp from G2 to finish off game 3.
Yeah, it definitely is, and a huge amount of your DPS is going to be reliant on Caps and Hansama having a good time. Like, Broken Blade will eventually just become a CC boss, and you want to try and make sure you have that follow-up, but this is it. Getting ourselves into game 3 of G2 versus KC.
It's the final game of Paris. The KC fans have riled up to their peak. But G2 fans also unleashed a bit. We saw on social media, I mean, Kesh is doing a lot of the work.
30 seconds.
And this should be a sight to behold, the peak of European League of Legends. Right now, yes, okay, G2 in that last game got rolled over a bit, but like, this still feels like the top 2 teams. And I know, Dagda, we had that conversation where it's like, you know, G2 weren't considered that, and I always have to give them credit because of how they end up playing towards the end of playoffs, the end of regular season, the start of playoffs. It feels like we're getting insane quality performance here. The SkewMond wants to finish it off with Mundo, and we've got a broken blade Warwick in the last game. Like, people look at this like, yo, I can try this in solo queue tonight.
I mean, we'll have to see if the G2 cooking is going to work, because it was kind of that game 3 in the finals against KC where they got a lot of flack for their draft.
Oh, yeah.
But this one, I think, looking a little bit more stable. We'll have to see if they're going to be able to follow through with it, because, again, it's kind of KC having some nice fights in the early stages that got Kalista into a position where he could really take over the game. We'll have to see if it's going to be a similar story as Canna. Starting the W just to try and escape away from Broken Blade.
Just gets in amongst it. Wait for that Jaws of the Beast sustain as lethal tempo's taken up in this top lane. And a barrier, of course, mentioned in pick ban, which is a must for any Warwick top, as Labrov engage onto Kaliste, good sidestep out. Hansama just gets away with the Guardian from Targamas.
Yeah, Targamas even starting with the Gleaming Quill as well to make sure they can heal up. So Hansama and Labrov not going to be able to get the push that they would like to. It seems like in this bottom side of the map. Also, a ward was placed, I believe, by... I was going to say, I think it was Broken Blade, so I think there's one up by the Sejuani there, which spots out exactly where Yike is on the map right now.
Now, we haven't had a chance to, but I feel like both games, Caps has been really consistent with his laning. I think this has been a recurring story so far as well. As I'm surprised, like, Caps and his stats over this split has actually still been really good. Like, the individual laning never really disappeared.
Yeah, I think it's more so been him getting caught out in different positions that has really hurt G2 at times, and especially as we got towards the later half of the split, there was much more focus on trying to tunnel on him and get some kills in the early stages against him, trying to limit his impact. But there's also been a couple of games where, say like with the Orianna, where he ends up with 4 kills and just isn't really able to carry that across the finish line. So I think there's kind of been, like, it's still decent from Caps.
Yeah.
It's just the level that we hold Caps to,
True.
he has not been reaching those standards. And kind of similar for Vladi, like, he has been changing his style, going for much more, as people kind of quote-unquote say, these Zeka picks of the Sylases and the Akalis, and trying to bring out a lot of these melee champions. But all in all, still able to have some, both of these guys can have some incredible impact when it does get to the later portions of the game. Like, we got to see Vladi yesterday in the Sylas, Caps earlier, dictating a lot of those fights in the Galio as well. So it is going to be crucial to get control over mid. It's just a question of, do we get these early ganks from Yike towards the mid lane once more, like we've gotten in Game 1 and Game 2?
He is nearby, but SkewMond hovering the same as well. Caps just wants this wave to push in. He has used cookies, which I believe he's got resolve, so ignore that. I was like, how did he get half his health back? Pot's burnt, and Caps just going to stand by for experience. Vladi already before, lethal tempo procced, and range versus melee, the advantage shown.
Yeah, you can see how many wards are being placed, though, in this topside jungle, the spot out where Yike is.
Yeah.
Like, they're just all over. There's one that was just placed here, there's one that's here, there's one in the river, that was just died in that brush beside Caps as well. So a lot of protection to try and make sure that he's going to be okay.
Oh, Labrov just crashed down. He used everything for that. Good trade back from KC, only to half HP, but Hansama's a bit low on mana. Probably wants to reset, get this wave in, lethal tempo up. Kalista and Targamas trying to hold it as much as they can. Look at where it is, but it is past that brush, so maybe there's too many minions. Maybe that's why. They need to go for another wave. Dagda.
Yeah, just want to try and see what they can achieve, but again, I think this is going to be a fairly slow-paced early game.
Yeah.
Like, Hansam and Labrov, Hansam and Kaliste are very strong when it comes towards the impact that they can have in fights, but for Kalista, it's kind of waiting for that level 6. Then, Yike, okay. I think I think he's more here to just help kind of escort the wave in. I think this is more what we're going to see rather than any sort of big wins in these early stages.
Canna has set up the permafrost from Sejuani. Broken Blade, don't be deceived. Being low as a Warwick is fine. He'll heal for 100% of his damage dealt. He's not stepping up to the wave. He's playing it mega cautious here, and he'll just accept the wave, and again, just auto this up. He'll be completely fine. See what I mean, Dagda? Look at this. Auto, fast attack speed. Low health minion, fast attack speed. It's just, I hate Warwick. Also, you're going to love him. Stop the back. Sees him. Onto Canna, he's completely fine. Jaws of the Beast will come in. Stopping that, even though he has TP. Kind of nice from Broken Blade, because he does not.
No, but it means he should be able to... Oh, wait, she's just going to reset now. I was going to say crash the wave and trying to reset, but you see the bot lane from KC's already moved up, so now Canna wants to try and interrupt so that his bot lane can get into range here. Level 6 hits.
Got him. He's looking for the fear, but Kalista will be in time. Really good pickup from you, Dagda. His Broken Blade with his ulti. Wants to now escape. Might have to flash and do so. Flash burn first, then the ulti. Targamas tried to predict it. It's flash for ulti that Canna used instead.
A good attempt from Targamas, but not quite able to get into position. But honestly, this just works out for KC, because Canna, you can already see immediate TP to the bottom side, whereas there's now nobody here apart from the support from G2 to catch that wave. SkewMond trying to take the dragon as you get that crash from Hansam on the bottom side. Should be able to get his Caps has control over mid, but KC looking to collapse.
But onto an objective, it's hard when Hansama has Brand and SkewMond has Smite available. That'll just drop. Cap zones out. Level 6 now picked up, and onto Vladi. He's not going to pull the trigger. Vladi just pokes him out. Half HP will be the trade deal.
Plates for Kalista on the top side, though, is pretty huge for them. 2 already going across. The broken plate here. Labrov looking.
Almost 3 interrupted, though. Labrov still gets it down. The fear is big. Broken Blade, even without the ulti, though, won't find the damage. In the end, he was close to Targamas on the hunt. He smells something in the water. Now it's going to be Kalista with a knock-up. It's Sacrificial Lab, and Broken Blade can't get the trade kill instead. Kalista picks it up. Yikes, gank at the nick of time was perfectly executed.
KC aren't afraid of the big bad wolf. Standing to fight. They take down Broken Blade. They burn the barrier. And again, there's just people missing on the map from G2. Now you're getting the rotation from Hansama, but the wave is lost. Looking at bot side as well, that's just been escorted in by Canna. More waves lost. Broken Blade needed to get a lead through this Warwick, but it's just causing issues on the map with trying to collect CS.
1.5k gold lead. Let's watch the replay, because Labrov interrupted for that crash down flash.
And good flash from Kalista to get away. They turn on towards Targamas, but the heal comes through, the dash away, and then Labrov tries to walk back. They hope they can find the engage, but Kalista walking towards Yike, flash off of the Arctic Exalt to make sure that they just barely get in range and they can pick off the Warwick before he goes down. And now, Boygrub's about to spawn. Kalista not quite at that level 6 mark as he has been moving around the map. You'd like to hit off that top wave.
Targamas on the back of the pit, just interrupted before he can grand entrance out. But G2, even as they pick this up, I mean, Caps going to get ganked, hit down, but manages to escape. Dagda, I was going to say, you know, for KC, I'm looking at 80 carry difference right now. There's a BF sword and Vampire acceptance of boots. Han Sama, important for the Kalista, but even though Grub's going to go over, if there is an all-out brawl, I still favour Kalista now that he has level 6. And the damage that this Misfortune's going to do.
Well, I just don't think there's going to be an all-out brawl for another little while, right? So, Dragon taken by G2, and then you also get the Boygrubs taken, and a lot of that was because Han Sama had gotten that solo experience on the bottom side. He had already hit level 6, Kalista didn't have that luxury, so G2 playing off of the ultimate advantage on the AD carry. And now as you start to move into the next little while, it's like, well, where do you try and fight for realistically? So I think, again, it's just going to be, as you can see, this like rotation of AD carries. Kalista trying to go against the Warwick, so then Canna can at least try and farm up and be in a better position, especially when you have the TP. As that comes back up, it'll give KC more options on the map as to where they want to play, because you've got that similar spell advantage and the ability to move with your top lane.
G2 in the meantime, though, as resets came through from KC, note that Caps was able to get something towards mid with the 3 grubs that we mentioned. Top as well. I mean, this push is going to be so much faster. Also because Kalista has to wait for the wave every time to get that excess damage on the turret. This should just be a snap from G2.
Yeah, but I'm keeping my eyes on towards mid, because you can look at the Warwick starting to move in for Broken Blade, but Targamas has roamed across, pinged out. It looks like by G2, so they know he's there, but...
Okay, playing it safe for now. Targamas threatening the engage. He has quickness. Broken Blade with ulti up and available, though, and the barrier. Still, it's only going to be a couple of plates shared from KC. All shared top lane, as Caps is going to stay in top lane after the turret goes down. All in all, it trims that 1.5k gold lead down to about 1,000 between G2 and KC.
Yeah, I think Kalista should be able to get this next wave as Canna. Once Caps, you're just going to hop away, but I know Kalista actually just going to reset, so finishing off the Bloodthirster, I imagine, on this reset. And a minute now until the Dragon, so I think it'd be opening with 80 carries on mid, looking to try and fight for that priority. And now Canna, Canna should have that TP up and available to shift himself down towards a potential Dragon fight.
It's a minute till that spawns. Waiting for Kalista, actually. They didn't have to wait for anything because he still doesn't have enough for PT. First item for Azir. First item for Yike. Still not one there for the Ambessa, but Canna has everything up and available. Util bot for now. G2 had themselves into River first. KC getting threatened out as straight across the map. Dagda, I mean, again from G2. They want it all, but they're not going to be let. Vladi finds his mark. Labrov in trouble. Crashed out. Magnustorm on the way out. Shattering Strike on the peak. Caps jumps in under turret. He's ultied up. Can't escape. He's going to take the last turret shot. He's dead. KC lose one of their own in the meantime. It's mid for mid as G2 wait for the next wave to think about their shot call.
But you still got the TP from Canna to come in if they overcommit to this. Kalista doesn't have the ultimate to try and trim the wave, but honestly, for KC, 1 for 1, and you're getting that top tower, I think you're happy with it. Okay, not quite yet, but at least the plates
is mega slow, but you're right, still should be taken down as Broken Blade's on a ward. His timing, not good. He fears through. Jaws of the Beast gets him through Targamas as well. Broken Blade still delayed mega, and that Dragon's now up.
But the TP from Caps the top side should completely guarantee the KC Dragon on the bottom side, but Broken Blade getting that ultimate was clutch, and the hand Sama flash. Yeah. So it's only Labrov who actually gets the crash down, and then the follow-up from Caps, but he ends up getting locked up, so can't really escape. So mid laner for mid laner. The kill ends up going to Mundo versus going to Kalista, so I think you're kind of happy for that as KC. But also now a 550 gold lead starting to open up on the top side because Broken Blade is trying to move around. It makes it tough, but this is what I was talking about. Because you have double TP that were available for KC, Caps TP top to catch that wave and deny Canna any more of the tower damage. It means that Canna is the only one who can actually join in for any sort of dragon fight, so it nets the dragon for KC now as well.
Sacrifice of having that Warwick with barrier. Broken Blade, we're going to see the sacrifice he's going to have to make up next. Flash away. Targamas gets it with a simple W, but Labrov's coming in. Counterplays Han Sama not far behind. Labrov has flash, ulti, but will not be willing to burn it in this trade. Broken Blade just lost the summoner, and that's still going to be good for KC, knowing that Warwick, he's a little bit less volatile. Yeah,
no quickness for Targamas either, so I think it's just kind of more both teams strutting their stuff, puffing out their chest and pretending that they're going to really do something. But
True.
Again, I think the advantage for KC right now is the fact that Canna still has TP and how they can rotate with him around the map, and that's why for KC, they're putting a lot of attention down on this bottom side, because you can just open up and suddenly have an extra member in that lane if you need to.
I wonder if they're spelling out something.
Yeah, I think it's H-O-T-T-O-G-O. I think that's what it is.
T-A-S-T-E-Y, you know, tasty.
This is bananas.
B-A-N-A-N-A-N. Well, I know what we should do when we get a team Dagda. We just do all the Gwen Stefani lyrics. Now, Dragon was obviously taken. That was a year ago. But Herald's coming up at a minute 15. That was not a year from now. That is about minute 10 to be precise. G2 are really holding on to this tower, and KC are committing 4. Vladi can't get in range. Hansaman trying to shed that rend over. And SkewMond now here, they're really holding on for dear life.
Yeah, see, Warwick had already started to shift down and was in mid-wave, so they were waiting to see exactly where Broken Blade was on the map before they commit to anything, but they're constantly drawing multiple members of G2 into these positions and opening up moments for Canna to get that push on top side and still catch a lot of the CS. So I think, again, this is where you will struggle as long as Caps' TP is down. And in the grand scheme of things, you can see KC still get the bot side tower. So with 35 seconds now, until this Rift Herald was up and available, I think this is the moment where I would have liked to see Canna reset and try and go boss, and then you now reset with Vladi to try and catch this top wave, but it doesn't look like KC will be in a full, or at least when they do contest, it'll be more in an even position, as everyone on G2 should be able to match as Caps' TP. Going to be a little late, but he is on the bottom side.
At least we're going to see a bit more action. This game 3 is ramping up, isn't it? You know, it's like when you got a lot of relentless rats, but you need to give them to people because you have to goad them Dagda, and you have to put counters on them, and then when people attack, you get the draw step. You know, you get more draw. That's important. People don't need to know. Now people are going to look up relentless rats. What are relentless rats? Well, while you Google that, lock in, because Herald's going up. Volume increase 10%. Let's walk towards us and see if G2 want to fight it, because KC are in river first.
Yeah, it's again, it's kind of that fact that Vladi was in that bottom side, didn't have the TP because he got the bot side turret, which is fine. Like, Azir scale is fantastic with the gold. It just means that KC now aren't in a position to really guarantee themselves the win at a Rift Herald off of the teleport advantage. They've sent Broken Blade to the top side of the map where the objective is, and now Caps' TP is up. So anything that is fought here is going to be a bit more even footing. And I think you can see KC aren't as eager to try and take that fight because they're just not sure that they're actually going to win us.
Budget Mundo passive is being removed off Yike, by the way. Okay, slowed, never mind. It's back again. Yike's just going to walk in, taking damage from SkewMond. Herald reset. In comes Kalista after getting pushed in the mid-wave. Hansaman needs to deal with it. G2. No, they're going to leave this. They're going to walk away. They're not going to care. Captain, solo lane, and bot will be good enough.
Yeah, they just shift Canna up towards here to make sure they can get us. Now if Canna TP's away, so basically this is the play. It's Vladi has to get this. Now Canna can TP to bot side, because if you actually TP earlier, then there's a moment where Caps TP's top side and G2 can look for the all-in play. But with the way G2 set it up, they will lose Rift Herald, but at least they will be able to answer for the turret back. So you can see there's a huge amount of mind games going on with this 2 TP versus 1 TP, and it gets really complicated for both sides to try and figure out what wave should I take, what wave should I give, like how much resources do we want to give to Vladi versus setting up the map in our favor. So there's a lot of push and pull on these two summoner spells.
Good, you're keeping us informed. I feel like it's important, especially when, again, like G2 are always behind the play, and we need to know a reason why, right? We need to know a reason why G2 are giving so much respect, and Broken Blade now having Stride Breaker, maybe the side lanes become a little bit more easier to push and pull as he has that push now in his item kit. But as he reacts to bot wave, KC on the Dragon first, in the river first. G2 are passengers watching the play come into life as disengaged. Targamas gets away. Vladi disengages too. Broken Blade angles there, but he found out. Ulti sent in from Yike. G2 have lost their top laner's health bar. He'll run out, but he's got no summoners available. KC with an edge up.
Still, though, KC have to win out of the rest of the fight. Broken Blade trying to just heal up on the side, and there's a huge number of ultimates invested by KC.
Now the only question is, Caps, can he find an angle? The bullet time cancel midway. Caps does indeed. Kalista slow, claps back, but hit by SkewMond. Businessman with a business plan. He runs to the back line as KC trying to repute the fight. Permafrost cleansed away. Yike chasing his old 80 carry. He wants something out of him. He'll get it, but for what cost? As he looks for Labrov. Over the top, he'll find something, but Caps now flicks back, flashes in, finds the kill, dies. SkewMond's still alive, but Vladi is in full lethal tempo mode. Canna's going to give away a hard still stack. SkewMond trying to heal up, he's already burned the ulti. Canna running for his life, Vladi under turret, won't care for now. Stunned up, SkewMond is alive. An even trade of a fight, just what we asked for in a damn game 3.
Both teams threw everything in the kitchen suitcase at each other, but they couldn't find what they needed. Broken Blade takes so many resources out of KC's fight here that when they get into this position, even watch Labrov flashing in to deny Kalista Bulletstorm. Caps gets in onto the back line, which opens up SkewMond to flash forward, but on the opposite side, Vladi is dealing a ton of damage. Same with Canna, doesn't quite get over the wall initially, but eventually they're able to move around as Yike finishes off Hansama, and now you've got the reinforcements coming through as well. G2, honestly, kind of glad that so many resources were dumped into that Warwick and didn't quite work out.
As Vladi just sits by, he's a passenger, but he's a good one. After that fight, my takeaway is exactly this. We're back to square one, because Dragon might go down, but SkewMond, as he loses his passive, wants to fight yet again. Yike is running aground, Kalista's here, Hansama at max range, Canna finds him, he's dead meat, that's a kill. KC in the home arena, they're gonna start driving bigger than this, because SkewMond is up next. Broken Blade looks mighty useless this game, running into a field of despair, he has to ult out, and KC have found G2 again.
Barely Hansama gets caught, and KC pounds. Huge pick onto both the jungler and the AD carry. Canna now moving top. Watch where his Caps.
What's this 1v1 look like? Good dodge away from Canna, waiting for the cooldowns to come up again. He's got his Spear of Shojin, and he's got lethality. Caps pays the respect while Artican's being done down.
Kaliste.
There's just something about a home crowd, isn't there? Caps is going to run into Kaliste, and here's them help out. He's actually dead, though. The power of Yone. Paris, I can't hear you. What happened?
Caps wasn't alone. Labrov waiting in the wings. Now Targamas and Labrov dancing their way back across the rift as Atakan taken by KC.
Doing it again. No, not again. Canna with no ulti.
No ability to chase down. But still, at least Caps gets something back, but at this stage, you're looking at this Azir very much starting to get into a position where he is a threat. Leandri's Torment Leandri's Anguish just around the corner. You're starting to get items from Canna as well. You can see how much damage he's dealing in these fights. The fact that Broken Blade is 1.6k gold behind means this Warwick's kind of useless.
Ulti sent out, good dodge, but you're right. What can Broken Blade do? He just has to run for his life. He's dead again. Broken Blade's Warwick looked great with the Pantheon earlier in the split. But here it is looking like a dead dog.
It's the fact he just hasn't got to play the game that he wanted to.
True.
Ends up falling down in the early stages. KC then constantly rotating around the map, not giving him the matchup into Canna, using the TP spectacularly. And now you have a 2-level advantage onto Canna and all this gold. And KC are bullying out this Warwick. And now it's just, you are an ult boss. That is all you bring to the table is Broken Blade, and that's not the position you want to be in when KC are looking to try and push forward to take that #1 spot in the LEC.
Push sides, clear waves, ulti, set us up, because Caps is now becoming the carry very much in this game when the bot lane's out of gold. And what I mean is down in gold, 1800. Top, you already mentioned Canna's individual lead. It is the Cap show. Good stop. Canna just going to be slowed down a little bit. And seeing myself this split talking about, oh, it's the Cap show, it just returns back to what I have known since joining the LEC, that while G2 has outstanding members, no matter how they change and who they bring in, I feel like we always come back to Caps. I feel like we always come back to the puppy. Because, bro, caps backwards, it's spack. And it's like spitting, but you do it with gumption.
Well, he's going to have to dig deep for something here. Here we go.
Dagda. I know you don't have to follow up, but Caps is caught out of the talk about him. He has to ulti back in. Vladi disengaged, though. The wall divides and slides. And KC will make sure that G2 do not go anywhere near the Parisian trophy.
It looked terrifying for KC, but the division from Vladi sends them packing, and KC win at the fight.
Caps called out just talking about him. That was not a SPAC, Dagda, to confirm. You put an E in the end and you send him to space as Targamas is just disengaging because G2 aren't getting anywhere near the Dragon Soul point going to be picked up, and this inner turret to go down with it. Hansama cannot step up anywhere near the power of Vladi and Kaliste right now. 4,000 the lead. As I said, Soul point, and this is looking mighty KC for game 3.
Yeah, again, it's a good engage from Labrov, managing to get onto several members in the back, but Caps is locked down. He gets completely obliterated, and no damage is really threatening KC on the back line. So the divide from Vladi sends G2 away, and Kalista able to open up the bullet time then. Again, the damage dealers for G2, like Caps was dead, Hansama couldn't get in, and KC can turn the fight.
Baron's up in a minute. Nothing else on the board. That's the focus. I'm going to have to ask you, Dagda, there's an ult bot in the top lane for G2. How can they find a fight here when, again, every time KC, the damage just seems so easy in the front to back? Labrov, is he going to die? I guess you don't have to answer the question. He's going to disengage. Good shattering strike as mid is under fire.
I think it's just becomes way too difficult at this stage. Vladi opting in towards the Seeker's arm guard third means that he's no longer a threat for Caps trying to ult through, Labrov trying to ult through, and Hansama just doesn't get to play the fights. Canna is massive now. 2 items already done, starting on towards his third. He is a serious threat for Hansama stepping up into any of these fights, so just trying to auto-attack as a Kalista when you're getting bullet timed between soldiers, and then you've got an Ambessa jumping on top of you as well. It's like, how do you play the game?
Well, you could not and get an Edge of Night. That would be helpful, but as I say, that Canna has his own, so he can leap in. He's also got another Dirk, and so Hansama will die in an instant. KC start the Baron. G2 are slow to the show. Caps is walking up with his legs as fast as he can.
Canna off to the side, though. And this river is very dark for KC. They're going to have to try and get in for Canna.
4K, disengaged. SkewMond has his passive, no steal, trying to get in, but it's smited down. G2 playing for the after fight while Labrov went in deep. He's got no health, no regard. A fate's call to help him out from Hansama's. Caps is finally here. Bullet time layered down. Vladi with an ulti. It's good as he goes golden broken blade, tries to get his angle, but he ultis out. KC with 5 alive, and G2 with nowhere to stand again.
G2 desperate to try and get in towards Baron, but KC would not let them have a look at it. Caps now in mid. Canna trying to chase down KC, just putting pressure so they can look for the tier 2 and top.
Canna's damage is insane. Knockup's good. Caps wants to all in. Canna will flash away. There's kill threat here. Onto Canna, onto the top lane. He won't die yet, though. SkewMond uses everything. Now he's amidst 2. Vladi's rejoined, but look at Kaliste top. Look at Kaliste top. The misfortune is breaking down the house in the meanwhile because KC own the whole damn building.
SkewMond is no longer of this world. Kaliste is pushing in top. KC looking to crack the base of G2 and send Paris roaring.
It's deja vu again. There's something about the home crowd. There's something about the home stadium. KC showing us. Koi already showed us a couple of weeks ago as they look for their final engage. G2 started out strong, but KC scaled. They grew, they adapted. Paris will start roaring, bringing the energy to life. Caps will look for the engage, but he better say goodnight. One Nexus turret to go. Vladi putting on a show. KC are doing it once again. We feel winter, we look at spring. It's the same old story as Hansama can't even stand. KC look for the dive. This is the final layer of the good night chapter. Paris take a bow. You brought KC right into the 2-1 finisher to finish off the event.
There is just something about KC. This team has been touted by Broken Blade as the best in the league. Has said in interviews they don't even feel like they're playing at their full power. G2 threatened them a little bit, but it feels like KC just have a switch they can turn on and take over.
First place locked in. 8-1 for Karmine Corp. Your best team of winter is still shining bright in spring, as you can vote for your player of the series at LEC on X. Kia recommends Yike, Kaliste, or Targamas.
That is the tough one. I think Kalista had a fantastic series.
He did have a very good series.
And also Targamas, like that Alistair, so much of game 2 hinged on him finding the engages and getting good use out of that flash. And he was crucial to that success.